You know that feeling, right? That ache, like something heavy just sitting in your chest, or maybe a knot in your stomach that just won't go away. It's the past, isn't it? Just clinging on, keeping you tied to something you can't actually change.
It really feels like trying to move forward while dragging an anchor.
Exactly. And we've all heard that saying, maybe it sounds a bit much, but holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
It's traumatic,
Yeah.
but it really nails the self-inflicted part of it, doesn't it? Bitterness isn't just a quick flash of anger.
No.
It's corrosive. It traps you, like being emotionally locked up.
Absolutely. And that's exactly where we're diving today, into this whole area of bitterness, resentment, how it holds us.
And more importantly, what the sources we looked at suggest about finding a way out towards something, well, lighter.
Yeah.
More peaceful.
Yeah, finding peace. So we've looked at insights from psychology, lots of personal stories, different takes on well-being.
Right. And the mission here is really to understand where this feeling comes from, and then what are the practical things you can actually do to move on.
Okay, so let's get specific. Bitterness. It feels different than just, being angry.
It does.
Anger can be hot, right? Maybe it makes you want to do something, confront someone. Bitterness feels colder somehow, more stagnant.
That's a good way to put it. The sources often differentiate them.
Yeah.
Anger might push you towards action, some kind of outrage, but bitterness, or embitterment, as psychology sometimes calls it.
Embitterment, right.
It's really soaked in this feeling of helplessness, like everything is just out of your control because the event, the hurt, it's done. It's in the past.
You can't rewind it.
Exactly. You can't undo the accident, the betrayal, whatever it was. It's fixed.
And that feeling of it being fixed, that must be what fuels the helplessness.
Precisely. But the crucial thing we found isn't about trying to change the past event you can't. It's about changing your relationship to it.
Changing how much power it has over you now.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what you can influence.
So why is that so important? What's the actual cost of just staying stuck there in that bitterness?
Oh, the cost is huge. It impacts everything physically. Long-term bitterness isn't just in your head. It shows up.
How so?
Like chronic stress, or even like trauma symptoms. We're talking sleeplessness, constant fatigue, no energy, sometimes even chronic pain that doesn't have another clear cause.
Wow. So it literally weighs on your body.
It absolutely does. And then there's the mental and emotional side, which is maybe even heavier.
Like what?
A slow chipping away at your self-confidence, negative shifts in how you see the world, maybe even your whole personality, constant stress, depression, anxiety.
Panic attacks. Nightmares.
Yeah, sometimes even panic or recurring nightmares, flashbacks for some. Shame is often a big hidden part of it too.
And relationships must take a massive hit.
A huge barrier. It makes genuine connection really, really hard. You might find yourself pushing people away, isolating yourself without even meaning to.
Let's talk more about that feeling of being stuck. It seems connected to the stories we tell ourselves, doesn't it? The narrative we repeat over and over.
It really is. And here's something interesting from the sources. Sometimes the more we tell that surface story, the further away we get from what really hurts underneath.
What do you mean?
Like we focus on the injustice, the external thing that happened. But the deeper pain might be something else.
Like that example of the person who got defrauded. They kept talking about the money lost.
Right, the injustice of the money.
Wrong.
But the sources suggested maybe the core bitterness wasn't just the cash. It was about feeling foolish, feeling like they were made to look stupid.
So the bitterness about the money was almost a cover for the humiliation.
Exactly. It becomes a shield for something more vulnerable. And constantly replaying that simple story, that narrative, it kind of locks you into being the victim.
And the stories we heard from people really bring this home, the sheer weight of it. Like Julia, dealing with health issues for decades, feeling so bitter watching healthy people.
Yeah, that constant comparison, feeling left behind, pulling away from friends because of it.
Or Lisa, her ex cheats, leaves her struggling financially while he seems fine. That unfairness is just eating at her.
That stark contrast fuels it. And we heard from others where the roots were in incredibly tough childhoods, abuse, threats, making forgiveness feel almost unthinkable.
Like Barbara G. carrying the words of her adoptive mother saying she wasn't wanted. That led to feeling worthless, always seeking acceptance, which just fed the bitterness.
And Reggie's story, how feeling used by family led him to become bitter and then lash out, hurting someone else. He was wrestling with karma, injustice. It's a vicious cycle.
Tessa's experience, too. Bitter that her ex was doing things with his new partner that she'd wanted to do with him, even though she didn't want him back. It was bitterness about a lost idea of life.
And it spilled onto her kids. Then there was the incredibly difficult story from exhausted, dealing with severe abuse, systemic failures, and feeling bitter towards professionals who didn't help, resenting even being alive.
So much pain. And T, outwardly extroverted but hiding low self-esteem from family humiliation, feeling trapped in bitterness despite knowing it intellectually.
Or nasty heart, whose bitterness came from poverty, jealousy, family neglect, hurtful words, a whole layers of things making it hard to feel grateful.
Dallas, too, his wife left, split the family. He took a financial hit while she seemed okay. Feeling the bitterness was slowing down his own recovery.
These stories, they're all different, but they show how bitterness is this complex knot. It's injustice, fear, unmet needs.
And you mentioned hidden fears earlier. That bitterness can be a kind of disguise.
Exactly, a camouflage. It might feel easier or safer to be bitter about what someone did than to face a fear inside yourself.
Like that PhD student example, bitterness about losing savings might mask a deeper fear of not being smart enough for the degree.
That's the idea the sources explore. The anger at the scammer is maybe less threatening than confronting a core fear about inadequacy.
So tackling the fear itself could actually lessen the need for the bitterness.
It could shift the focus, move energy away from the unchangeable past towards something internal you can work on.
Okay, so understanding the cost, the roots, the hidden stuff, that's step one. But it sounds incredibly hard to shift. What do the sources actually offer as ways forward?
Yeah, it is hard. No magic wands here.
Yeah.
The sources are clear on that. But they do outline practices, mindset shifts, ways to start chipping away at it.
Where do you start?
One big area is really, honestly, reevaluating the situation, digging deeper than the usual story.
No.
Ask yourself, what specifically haunts me? Which details? Get it out, maybe journaling helps. And crucially, do I even still want the thing I lost? Or have I actually outgrown it?
That's interesting. Maybe you're bitter about losing something you wouldn't even choose now.
Right. Another suggestion, maybe sounds odd, is to put your story on hold.
Stop talking about it. I thought talking helped.
It can, but constantly retelling the same negative story with the same intense emotion can actually dig the groove deeper, keep you stuck in that victim role. A break can create space.
Okay. And facing those hidden fears we talked about.
Vital. If bitterness is covering for, say, fear of failure, the sources suggest addressing that fear more directly through self-reflection, therapy, maybe small steps to challenge the fear.
Which brings us to forgiveness, the big F word.
Ah, yes. And the key here is forgive when ready.
Not forcing it.
Absolutely not. Forgiveness is framed as a psychological release for you, but it has to be genuine. Fake forgiveness is just denial. Really, it doesn't heal. Go at your own pace.
And forgiving yourself, often the hardest part.
The sources really stress this. Sometimes that outward bitterness is just deflected fury at ourselves. Facing that, extending compassion inward, that can be incredibly powerful, though difficult.
They also suggest bringing new things into your life, branching out.
Yes. Bitterness thrives in stagnation. Actively seeking joy, connection, new interests, it brings fresh energy. It's harder to dwell on the past when you're building a present you actually enjoy.
Makes sense. And setting mini goals.
It tackles the helplessness. Bitterness feels overwhelming. Small, achievable goals each day give you a sense of control, of movement. Tiny steps forward.
Trying a new perspective is mentioned too.
Yeah, like trying to see it from the other person's view or just zooming out on your own life. Gaining that distance can really shift things.
And definitely not going it alone, seeking support.
Crucial. It's a tough battle. Friends, support groups, a therapist. Getting an outside, unbiased perspective can be invaluable. Many listeners mention being encouraged to seek counseling.
Which flows nicely into mindfulness practices, cultivating inner peace, equanimity.
Right. And inner peace isn't about life being perfect with no challenges. It's about building the capacity to meet those challenges with calm, with balance, equanimity.
Big, simple things help, like meditation.
Even just a few minutes regularly. It changes your brain state, builds that calm center.
Self-care too, not just a luxury.
Essential. Scheduling time for things you enjoy reinforces self-worth, builds that foundation of peace.
Visualizing a peaceful place, like a mental escape.
Exactly. Engaging your mind positively. A calm internal space you can access.
And breathing, conscious breathing.
Seems basic, but it's incredibly powerful. Your breath is always there as an anchor to calm your nervous system in stressful moments.
The sources also mention actually feeling the pain, not just ignoring it.
Yes, don't bottle it up. Acknowledge the hurt. Notice where you feel it in your body. Then find ways to let it out, journaling, talking to someone trusted, releasing that stored energy.
And then there's trying to understand the other person's perspective.
Empathy? Therefully, yes.
Yeah.
It's not about excusing what they did, not at all, but trying to understand why they might have acted that way, maybe from their own pain or limitations. It can sometimes open a path to compassion.
Which leads us to self-compassion. That seems really central.
Hugely important, maybe the most vital piece. Treating yourself with kindness, understanding, acceptance. Especially the messy parts you judge, like being angry or resentful.
Like seeing those reactions as maybe faulty software, not the real you.
Kind of like that, especially if there's trauma involved. Not identifying completely with those reactions. It helps break the link between lack of forgiveness and feeling depressed.
And accepting your own imperfections makes it easier to accept others.
Exactly. Recognizing our shared flawed humanity, it builds that bridge.
So looking at everything, the message is pretty clear. Holding on to bitterness is just exhausting. It hurts you.
It keeps you chained to the past, draining your present.
But the key takeaway is you can't change what happened.
But you absolutely can change your relationship with it. You can change how it affects you now.
Through that self-reflection, facing fears, getting support, mindfulness, self-compassion, and ultimately choosing forgiveness.
Choosing to let go. That conscious decision.
It really comes down to the power and maybe even the happiness found in forgiveness.
It's not about forgetting or condoning. It's an intentional act. Deciding to release the anger, the resentment, for your own sake, to make space for something better, like empathy.
It's a choice to free yourself.
Yes. When you forgive others, and especially yourself, you are the one who benefits most. You get lighter, freer, happier. It's an act of self-kindness, really.
And research backs this up. The link between forgiveness and happiness.
Yes, studies show a significant positive connection.
Now, it's acknowledged this isn't easy. Letting go can feel scary, even painful initially.
Definitely. But the sources consistently suggest that the ongoing pain of not forgiving, of staying stuck in that bitterness, is ultimately far more damaging in the long run.
So we've journeyed through the weight of bitterness, how it anchors us. But the hopeful thread is that the future isn't fixed.
Your relationship with the past isn't fixed. You have agency there.
Through these practices, reflection, perspective shifts, support, mindfulness, and that conscious choice to forgive,
Yeah.
you really can move towards freedom, towards peace, towards, well, happiness.
It's about building that inner capacity.
So a final thought then. If true internal peace isn't about avoiding challenges, but about meeting them with calm, clarity, and compassion, what difficult situation in your life right now could you perhaps approach with just a tiny bit more self-compassion today?